excited as we focus on a musical selection from each continent that has been popular in the United States at some time, some in the past and some in the present. Drum majors, is the band ready? Our first musical import comes from Brazil and achieved legendary status in the United States. Recorded in the early 60s, this album would become one of the most popular jazz albums of all time. The first jazz album to win Record of the Year in 1965. This is a girl from Ipanema. The biggest import to American music in recent years comes from Korea. The phenomenon of K-pop is huge worldwide, but the following in America is particularly fervent. All you stans already know this tune from BTS. This is Butter. In 2004, the Australian group Sept was nominated by MTV for Best New Artist and Best Rock Video for their debut hit single. The Marching Saints close out our world tour with Are You Gonna Be My Girl? Ladies and gentlemen, the Marching Saints. The 2022 Marching Saints are under the direction of Micah Volz, ably assisted by Scott Fryer, drill by Mark Waymeyer. Drum majors are Mary Len Flagler, Mara Stockwell, and Grace Wilbur. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marching Saints.
All right, welcome back, CTV viewers. With Denny White, I'm Brad Robbins. We're picking it up high speed here on the kickoff because this is the fastest we did anything since the first half. We made the conscious choice that there wasn't going to be a lot of hard-hitting analysis from that first half. Saints up 21-0. It was pretty ugly in most facets, maybe aside from special teams for the Saints. But they did enough, and they've got a lead. And there's something to be said for that as they're shutting out the Abes, who are having an even harder time offensively out here on the second week of the season.
If you're going to struggle with timing and pass routes and blocking, it's good to be up 21-0 if you're going to do that.
No doubt about it. And the other side of that is the Abes are struggling with all the same things, plus a bunch of procedural penalties and the lack of interest at times.
Yes.
So, and even the officials, I would say, in that first half are in early season form. This time Gabriel goes on the outside and can't get it. So hopefully everybody had a good pep talk. Both teams and the officials got it all squared away, and we have a nice, clean, faster moving second half. Saints on offense as they deferred and then forced a fumble right away by the Abes. So a nice job in pursuit there by the Abes. Force a tackle for loss to bring up 2nd and 11 for the Saints. Both teams just having a hard time finding some continuity. Keep things going. Logan Ellis, the bright spot for the Saints. Gets tackled by Callum.
Well, and it's the same situation we talked about in the first half, that they are so jammed up close to the line of scrimmage that one little pop and he's going to be gone.
We saw that on that critical 3rd and long that the Saints faced because they were marching down the field. Had a couple of untimely mistakes, and then Logan Ellis took it all the way down to the 2-yard line. A really nice run. And he actually had the touchdown that way as well. So, yeah, once he pops and breaks through the first level, you know, we've seen it. The issue is the Abes are, you know, able to crowd the box because the Saints haven't really proven to get out on the perimeter or go through the air for anything significant. And here, just a little bit of a rough snap leads to a botched handoff, and I think a fumble recovery for the A's.
Yep.
So the Saints going to send their defense back out onto the field. We talked about the bright spot on offense being Logan Ellis. On defense, one of the bright spots has been Logan Ellis, but Saints doing a nice job shutting out the A's, not allowing them to get much. They had one blown coverage that the A's didn't execute on in the first half. But that's something you'll have to look out for here as well. They may go back to that play to see if the Saints fixed it. And if you're the A's and Coach Alexander, you might do it early because you're down 21-0 and it doesn't feel like your offense has a lot of firepower. Similar look.
Yeah.
Good throw there, and Amari Alford can't haul it in. Incomplete pass. Better throw that time. Lombard struggled with a little bit of accuracy on those intermediate routes early, and that one was better, but his teammate didn't pick him up.
Well, that's a play I think you file away because you know that it works. All he's got to do is catch the
ball. Right, that was good for 6-8 yards and maybe a little bit after the catch. Went through his hands. Callum, the featured back, did a nice job actually in the first half. That one's going to be a late handoff due to a low snap, but puts his head down, gets a few off the right side. Met there by Phillips on the tackle. Picked up about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play.
With the carry, he's wrapped up at first by number 32, Josh Phillips.
Abe's getting organized just a little bit faster here earlier in the play clock. They struggled with that, had a few delay of game penalties. Lombard's got his guys to the line and ready with 8 seconds this time. Snap off in plenty of time. Looking over the top, being chased now. Saints in pursuit, and they're going to get a sack.
Yep. The safety valve was sitting out here all alone.
Yeah, didn't want to go there. Had his eyes set downfield, and Carter Peterson had other ideas. He ran out of time, and good job. Credit to the defensive backs for the Saints for keeping good enough coverage that Lombard didn't feel comfortable letting one fly. It's going to bring up 4th down and 15, but they're on this side of the 50, and the punt team hasn't exactly been strong for the A's. I think I'd just run offense for the remainder of this thing.
I would think so, yes.
And you can punt out of this formation too. And Lombard couldn't do worse. He could make the decision late. They're going to throw over the top. Ellis is going to pick it off, and you hear the coaches here in the box telling him to do the next higher order thinking thing and knock that down, but he wanted his second pick. Obviously, if he knocks that down, the Saints get a lot better field position, but he does pick it off, and the Saints are going to take over at about the 6-yard line. So a tall order ahead, 94-yard drive in store for the Saints. And I'm sure, Coach, you're surprised that Logan Ellis was in the middle of a play and made it for the Saints. Nice job by him. Lombard just kind of heaving that one. That was a prayer, and honestly, in terms of we talked about special teams or not, that was way better than a punt that they would have been able to execute.
Yeah, they would not have been down there with a punt.
Nothing hurt there. That was an arm punt. Peyton Ellis bobbles the snap, but he makes something out of it. Scampers all the way out across the 15 to about the 16-yard line.
Peyton Ellis with the broken play.
Both teams struggling a little bit in the shotgun, just not clean, crisp snaps back to their signal caller. That time Ellis does a good job to find a seam and maybe even just run where the back was supposed to take a handoff. Looks like an injured Abe there trying to make his way all the way across the field, so officials give the timeout signal. Doesn't get charged to the A's.
Amari Alford, and he had a couple of touchdowns last week.
And he's been somebody that they've tried to go to several times today, so keep an eye on that. I don't know if it's cramps early in the season, hot day. think some of that I-94 traffic got to the A's too, because they were only here about 15 minutes before kick, so getting those muscles prepped might have taken its toll here in the second half. Ellis hands off to Ellis. Kind of scampers through, makes a couple guys miss. Oh, what a pretty good job there. I'm very impressed. I think it was Micah Alexander or Tamarian Minor. I can't tell. Caught just enough of Ellis's jersey to bring him down, and he even tried to rip the ball away a little bit.
Like he was trying to climb up his back just by grabbing the jersey.
And he's handing Ellis back parts of his jersey that he was able to take away from him. Now, Ellis has done a lot of good things today, but on film, his boys are going to get him for getting caught there.
Somebody's going to say
no doubt about it. If you're watching this back, I mean, you got to escape Mike Alexander, buddy. Great job by Alexander to run him down. That probably saved a touchdown. Peyton Ellis. I think this is Gabriel. This thing's starting to open up a little bit now for the Saints. No, it was Ellis again. He made his way back into the fold. No, that was Gabriel. Gabriel emulating the Ellis armbands that help us out, but Gabriel with a nice run there, and it seems like a couple of things cleaned up on that offensive front for the Saints. Going to see a combination of that, I think, here in the second half. Things will get a little bit better, and I think if you score here, you're starting to get into that phase where you're breaking the will of your opponent a little bit, and you might see some larger holes and some people just later on assignments in white jerseys. They crowd it here and just kind of go old school, full house, get a few. Saw that same type of blocking scheme on a quarterback sneak that went for a first down earlier, just kind of out of nowhere for Ellis.
Brought down by the interior of the A defensive line. Pickup of 3 to bring up 2nd and 7.
Mike Alexander right in the middle of that again.
Well, and now being the second half, you don't when they change from offense to defense, there's not a whole lot of that's not a wholesale change.
No, there's a lot of people playing both ways in this game. You wonder a little bit about, conditioning time and experience and remembering all the things you're supposed to do. Not a lot of reserves on the sideline for either team, but especially the A's. Yep. And you look up and down their roster, and we mentioned this earlier, they're not running a multi-tiered program here, so you got a lot of freshmen and sophomores that you're trying to get them all organized. And it can be a challenge. Depending on how your feeders go and the consistency of it, you're just putting a lot of young kids against St. Clair's seniors, who there's quite a few good-sized young men on
Yes, there are.
Third down for the Saints. 7 to go. From the 37, it's going to be Ellis. Gives to Gabriel off left tackle. Makes the first guy miss, and then Tristan Cullen put a licking on him.
I'm here. I saw you cut
the lowered shoulder, and that one was the first good pop of the day, I really think. I mean, Gabriel's fine and bounces up tough, but a nice tackle there by Kellum, who laid the lumber. Going to bring up a 4th down for the Saints.
Well, this is, from a tempo standpoint, a lot better game to watch. There's much more flow to this.
Yeah, it feels like there's just a little bit of energy coming out of half. But it's 4th and 2, and it feels like in order to keep that momentum, you really got to get this. A little bit of a high snap again. Looks like they are going to get it across the 30 just enough. Good play call, well blocked again. The only hitch in that play was the snap was a little high to, get the momentum. It was just a little late getting them going. But Ellis with a nice read and gets across for the first down. I really think that was a huge momentum thing. You feel like you got that energy, and then all of a sudden it's 4th and 2, and if you get stopped there, it's a problem. So nice job by the offensive line doing just enough, and Peyton Ellis this time moves the sticks. 5 to go in the third. Saints getting closer to the red zone. Logan Ellis off right tackle. Caught from behind with the shoulder pad this time. Gets about 9.5 yards. Saints break the huddle. About 20 seconds left on the play clock this time, so a little bit faster. Ellis under center. Logan Ellis picks that one up. They're really keying on him.
Yeah.
Tristan Kellum. I mean, Kellum is their best running back, but he's also a pretty darn good linebacker. And right now, I think he might just be assigned to Logan Ellis.
Well, and that's what it looks like. He just went right at him.
Well, how do you blame him? I mean, that's exactly
yeah.
what you're going for right now. And if I'm coaching him, that's what I'm going to tell him to do also. But he's doing a nice job of it, I guess. To be able to just go spy him and get through any blocks and chop him down that quick is pretty impressive. So unable to pick up the first down after getting 9. A little bit of a counter look here. Late to develop and not going to do it. Mm-hmm. So another 4th down opportunity.
Gabriel again with the carry. Brought down by that interior again of the defensive line.
So another one of those opportunities like they had a few plays ago.
On the 21-yard line.
Get some momentum and then have it stall a little bit if you don't convert on 4th down. You went from 2nd and 1 to now 4th and 2. And you were at the 20-yard line working into the red zone to take it in. So a big play here for the Saints to start the second half. They're going to sneak it. Looks like they may have enough.
The ball ended up way out to the left.
See what they mark forward progress. Spot. It looks at the top like, boy, that's close. Maybe even due for a measurement. The stick looks past the 20. It looks like they marked it on the 20. They're not even going to measure this thing. And the Abes hold. So Saints unable to convert a first down after a first down play of 9 yards. And that was the stall that you didn't want to see. On the positive, the Saints did flip the field. Bring it across and get the Abes inside the 20. Although it is interesting, where they have marked that ball currently would be a first down
which is not where
for the Saints. That's not where they spotted the football. If you're catching if that's the spot, it should be first down for the Saints, not the Abes. So my guess is in the shuffle where the ball came in from the sideline that got moved a little. Abes are going to give it a go. Lombard takes it, gives it to Kellum. He tries the perimeter a little. Pretty good downfield blocking there. Looks like Ellis got there with William Schroeder. And they're going to give the Abes a first down here, it looks like. So they're going to move the sticks. Would make sense based on where that ball is, exactly 10 yards. Lombard again, just going to try to ride Kellum. Kellum to the perimeter again, makes a man miss.
Nice run.
Gets about 8 or 9. Forced out of bounds by Nesbitt that time.
And I think if they would have done that earlier in the game instead of just tried to pass, because the pass receivers take the cornerbacks and the safety out of there, that gives you only have one guy. And if you can get a blocker or you're quick enough like he obviously is, you can get some yardage.
Yeah, they came out trying to fire early, but the issue around that was not just that the Saints defended it well, the scheme was just basically go. You know, they ran a bunch of go routes, and it was just center field for the safeties. Lombard is going to turn off his opposite foot. Saints in pursuit here. He flips it over the top. That's Amari Alford, who was injured a few moments ago and is back out there running past the 40 down to the 39. And you mentioned he had a couple of touchdowns last week against Mount Clemens. That might have been the first time he's been able to hang on to one today. But a big play.
You know, that's not the first time they've thrown that pass there. That's just the first time he caught it.
Correct. They've done that a few times. He just hasn't been able to come up with it, and right there he makes a pretty good catch and makes his way to the 39-yard line. Maybe a little bit of confidence for the Abes here as they scrimmage from the 39. Alford to throw again across the middle. Excuse me, that was Lombard to Alford, and that time he can't hold on. That one looked like it was a little hot.
Yep. Yeah, he's back to, he has a strong arm, but he's not real smooth with it, so that's got to come out of there really hot.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a, rehearsed time, 3-step, 5-step. I don't think you have a traditional look on that. He's just kind of catching it and moving his feet quick. That time he didn't have his feet under him when he threw that, and it sailed on him just a little bit and came out hot. 1:35 to play on the incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 for the Abes. Saints defense shutting them out so far. Had a good week last week, looking to keep that going. There you see kind of same thing. Lombard without his feet set tried to hit Amari Alford and sailed on him, and Alford not able to catch it.
I think much like a pitcher, he takes a real short stride, and the ball has to stay high because your arm's not through yet.
Definitely has an issue with release point and his feet not being under him, that is for sure. Abe stagger out of the huddle, taking too long, I believe, and Lincoln's going to have to call a timeout. We saw a lot of that in the first half where it was just slow to develop and communicate, and they ended up needing to call some timeouts or face the delay of game penalty.
There's a nice view of the St. Clair sideline.
Yeah, that's definitely where the party's at. The opposite sideline, pretty barren over there. So good look at the Saints marching band, who did an excellent job during their halftime performance. Brought the energy a little bit to a place that was just frankly lacking some. So it's nice to see them get out and perform here on their first night. A lot of them as seniors, as we recognized, for their final year of performances. Director Micah Volus always doing an excellent job with the high school marching band. I know they recognized Scott Fryer, who is the middle school director, but also helps Micah a great deal with some of the specialization stuff that he has with the high school band. Great job by them. And then, of course, Mr. Schaefer on the microphone announcing always. So some things just don't change, and that's a good thing.
Yes. And they shouldn't.
Excellent program there. Very proud of that. Back to football. The Apes sling it out to the right. Finally do complete the pass. Looks like it's going to get out to about the 30. I don't know if that's enough for a first down. It's close. Oh, no, he's a little bit short, and looks like we have an injured Saint on that sideline. Can't get a number on the injury. Might be a hamstring, just kind of by the way they're looking. Saints going to come over to the sideline. Injured player is going to be tended to. Injury notwithstanding, the pace of this quarter much better just in terms of flow. Not a lot of points, obviously, but just 1:23 left. That first quarter, because of all the procedural issues, really dragged on. And that can be a challenge for kids playing the game as well. I mean, that's keeping them interested without a whole lot going on except for penalties and backward and forward movement, all for naught, is sometimes a mental hurdle. So the coaches have the injured player up and moving here. possibly Matt Farrow, number 56. Kind of just walking gingerly on that right leg.
Matt Farrow.
Going to get him a seat, get him checked out. Hopefully it's something that they can work out. I don't know. It almost honestly looks like they're working a cramp out of his calf.
Yep.
So if that's what it is, that's good news because those go away and heal quick. Sometimes on the same night, and sometimes they're just tough to get to go away. But nonetheless, hopefully they get that worked out better than Lombard got that snap worked out because that was 4th down and it was a broken play. He gets tripped up and he's not going to make it. So the Saints are going to take the ball back on downs. So after a short break for that injury, the Saints are going to bring the offense back onto the field, and they've accomplished something in that the last time they took it from about the, I don't know, inside the 10-yard line on the interception by Ellis, and they did move the ball across and down, but they didn't get any points to show for it. Saints got to put it together and find pay dirt a couple more times here tonight.
Well, I thought the tempo was much better during the last series.
Yeah, it was almost a shame. That felt like one of their better offensive drives, and they came away with no points. They had a couple of tough, plays where they had 2nd or 3rd and short and weren't able to just easily get the first down to keep the drive going. This time they swing it out to Ellis. He's going to get a big chunk play. And I kind of like that he just ran that one out of bounds.
Yes.
And I'm saying that from the standpoint of longevity and how important he is in terms of the season. And I'm not saying that he should always run that out of bounds, but tonight it's not a bad idea, up 21-0. Just no reason to take an unnecessary one there. He's going to get a lot of carries tonight. Pretty smart play, just getting out, move on to the next one. I like that little play call, too. It was the first time the Saints have kind of worked the perimeter, and it was enough that it was almost like a handoff. Going to move Wiegand in motion. We've seen this a couple times. That time,
And that's what's happening.
right into the backfield, and they're just not able to get contained. And, I mean, tough to contain number 56, Mike Alexander.
Yeah.
And he's proven to be quick, for his size. He's athletic, has good hands. He caught Logan Ellis from behind a short time ago. So Jack Wiegand not able to escape him.
Well,
and
I think that's the 3rd time we've run that play, and the 3rd time the same thing happened.
right, he's just been able to step in, and he's a problem out on the edge. And it may be that he's supposed to be blocked and we're supposed to cut in front of him, but that's not happening at this time. But you're right, a few times to Jack Wiegand on that sweep, and Mike Alexander is on the spot. Peyton Ellis keeps that one, gets a few. That's probably going to end our 3rd quarter. Not much of a transition here as the ball is just going to have to be walked just to the other side of the 50, but the Saints are going to continue their drive as a 4th quarter drive going the other direction. And that means we're going to take a break and go to the sponsors. We'll see you here for the 4th quarter on CTV.
Rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the diamond.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Be great.
North Star Bank, your local community bank serving St. Clair, Sanilac, Huron, and Washtenaw counties. When you need a local community bank for home loans, checking, savings, and other banking needs, North Star Bank is the community bank that you want to deal with. The bank that will take care of all your personal and business needs. North Star Bank has a new mobile application that you can download to make banking even easier. North Star Bank, guiding the way. Member FDIC.
All right, we are back on CTV Saints football. I'm Brad Robbins alongside Denny White, and we're picking up the fourth quarter. Saints with a third down and long, and they air it out deep for the first time today, trying for a little excitement. Peyton Ellis might have had a man there in Jackson Oles, but he had to stop just a bit, and that's going to bring the punt team on, I believe, for the Saints. So 21-0. Saints in command as much as they can be at this juncture. Obviously, plenty of mistakes made for both teams right now, but a little bit better quarter there execution-wise. The Saints nor the Abes have anything to show for it points-wise.
I like that play, however.
Yeah, I don't mind that call at all. They really haven't shown that that's been something that they've wanted to do, so I like on that third and long to go ahead and try it, and I think they had it just a little late on getting it over there. Ellis, rugby style. Gets a punt away on the sideline. Goes out of bounds. Let's see how they coordinate and mark it.
Ellis's punt goes out of bounds.
They're going to give it the 33-yard line. And that's where the Abes are going to take over. This Abes offense hasn't really shown the ability to string much together. Every time they make a play, they seem to make two that reverses it. So if they're going to get back into this football game and score points on the Saints, they're going to have to find a way to execute enough that they don't shoot themselves in the foot. And if you're the Saints, I don't think you have to do anything different than your base defense and just allow that to happen naturally. I think you just keep everybody in front of you and let them eventually make the mistake that costs them the drive.
I agree 100%.
Lombard, as he often does, hands it to Tristan Kellum. Kellum's proven to be a difficult back to bring down. Got a late flag thrown at the feet of the pile. Hard to say, either a face mask or a holding.
As elusive as he can be, there wasn't any room inside there.
And they're going to get 55. Tamarion Minor with a holding call. They're going to back him up 10 yards. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit too. I'm shocked. We've seen a couple of attempts for the Abes to throw the ball out on the perimeter and try to get something going. They haven't really completed many. But, we saw the Saints run a toss play early for Logan Ellis that resulted in a touchdown. Mark that because we haven't seen that again.
Yep.
But I'm surprised that the Abes haven't tried something out on the perimeter. Just get Kellum running and try to get him one-on-one against one of the backers. Reverse pivot there. And you see right there as Aaron Logan makes a man miss. Whoa. And now he's got a shot here as he's escaping the defense. He's out on the perimeter. And almost as we talked about it, not a toss play, but something out on the edge and allow a playmaker to make a play. Aaron Logan does just that as he escapes the first tackler, makes a few guys miss. And you're going to see it. What happens out in space here, we do have a flag out in the middle of the field. But here makes the first man miss, makes the second go, and a pretty good job of blocking downfield. And just outruns the Saints to the end zone. Let's see what this penalty is.
The flag is at the 48-yard line.
It may just be that there is no flag. It appears that the official just lost the hanky on the way down. So that is going to hold up. And it's 21-7. So those times when the Saints were marching and had, those second and third and short, all of a sudden become more consequential because not only is the game only a two-score game with a lot of time left, the Abes might have just figured out something on that most recent play that the Saints are going to have to adjust to.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, the first down 9-yard gain and then not ever getting a first down after that is disruptive.
Yeah, there's a couple things here. Saints going to have to get a couple of first downs. You don't have to all of a sudden feel like you're – I think this is the mental aspect goes in it. All of a sudden you feel like because you haven't scored in a while, you're still in command of this game now 21-6 after the missed two-point conversion there. I don't think you flip your mentality and try to hit the gas here. I think
No.
you're playing against 11 minutes and 27 seconds. You're not playing against the Abe's at this point.
That's
you're
right.
just going to try to run offense, and on those seconds and shorts, you got to pick them up, and you'll be just fine. If you happen to pop one on a toss sweep with Logan Ellis one more time, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think you need to start airing it out or doing something you're not comfortable with. So the Saints kick return team going to come on. Only seen them one other time today, coming out of the hat.
Well, and on that extra point try, Amari Alford, it looks like a cramp again.
Yeah, he may be struggling with that. Obviously, we saw Matt Farrow was looking like he was struggling with that as well, and I think he made his way back onto the field. So early on, summer heat, kids not necessarily fully in shape yet. Their body's not quite used to all the contact and keeping their body hydrated throughout the day. And school's not in session for St. Clair either, and that plays into it a little bit. You get almost a third of your season in before the school bell rings, and getting into a routine does help these players as the season goes on. So not that necessarily plays into injuries. It's just different. You don't know what kids are doing throughout the day, having all the free time. Abe's going to kick this one off to the up man. Bobbled, fumbled even, and recovered. It's going to be to the 32-yard line, where the Saints offense takes over, 1st and 10. Phillips picked it up.
First and 10 for the Saints.
Saints fans bringing some enthusiasm for a birthday in the crowd. I believe it was Ashlyn Zimmer. Shout out to Ashlyn for her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Ashlyn.
Hopefully the Saints have a birthday touchdown and score, but the ball is out. Bouncing around. I don't think anybody's on it yet. Let's see if somebody was able to gain possession before it went out of bounds. I don't see an official immediately there. Let's see what they call. They are going to call it Lincoln ball. So all of a sudden, Saints were well in command at 21-0 with the fourth quarter starting. The Aves pop a big run by Aaron Logan and score a touchdown. And now the Saints fumble it at their 29-yard line, so it gives the Aves a good spot here to get themselves right into a competitive football game if they're able to find the end zone again. Terrence Lombard in the shotgun. Tristan Kellum with him. They're going to hand off to Kellum. He's going to try that perimeter we talked about.
Ooh.
Nice job, and maybe we learned why they're not doing it.
That's right. I think that's what's known as set the edge.
And they set it. Looked like Logan Blank was right, or excuse me, Owen Blank was right there. Took a pretty good pop there and fell on his back. Lombard to throw, under pressure. Kind of splits the Saints defense. Not long enough. Nice job again. I think that was Peterson once again. He had a sack earlier on something similar. Nice job. Just stays in pursuit, right? It's easy to think that he's going to escape you, but he stays with it. He's able to bring him down from behind.
And he got away from the first two defenders and then ran right into Carter.
Yeah, as soon as that ball gets snapped, there's pretty heavy pressure. Did a good job of evading and kind of splitting, as you mentioned. But that secondary of the Saints doing a good job downfield because nothing's obvious. It's covered up, and that's the benefit of just rushing 4 and obviously keeping 7 in the defensive backfield against this spread offense. got additional whistles here. Is that another delay of game penalty? Probably the 5th one.
Wow.
No matter the outcome of this one, there's plenty of coaching points on film for both staffs. But right now, 3rd and 22 for the Abes. Ooh, ball went over the top, got deflected off the hands of Lauren Smith and almost into the hands of Liam Nesbitt, who I don't think was expecting the ball to be there and wasn't able to come up with it. But it's going to be 4th and 22. Now, we've seen the 4th and 22 arm punt already. Has anybody pulled Logan Ellis aside and told him to knock it down?
Bat it away, yes.
Because last time he picked it at about the 6. And yeah, they're telling him right now. I can see it.
And this is another one of those plays that if the quarterback could hit the receiver's open.
Yeah, right there. That was another opportunity, and you got to imagine in stride, Liam Nesbitt was giving chase, but it's a foot race if that's caught, and at least a decent pickup. Looked like the Abes started a little early there. Pretty good ball over the top. It's overthrown, and we just had a late flag. We'll see what they call. They have an ineligible man downfield. It's going to be declined, and the Saints are going to get the ball in good field position. A lot of times you see that late in the game, guys just getting too far downfield. I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to get here.
Yep.
That's it indeed. Saints going to take over with decent field position. In the air, that ball looked better than it finished. The receiver was far on the outside, and that ball landed well on the inside. Good on the Saints for not catching that one, just letting it fall to the turf. They'll take the 41-yard line and make it happen from there.
And that becomes part of the crispness you were talking about before. It's just not you shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, the Abes got the ball at the 29 and backed it out to the 41, and that's all they could show for that drive. Ellis with a really tough run right there. Just kind of bulldoze over Kamari Taylor.
Logan Ellis levels his shoulder, lowers his shoulder.
Good little run.
Gain brought down by number 7.
Picks up 6.
It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Saints.
Looks like a procedure penalty there as well. Almost doesn't matter. It might be a benefit. Well, it's not going to be a benefit, but that was a tackle for loss on the books. It does look like there is an injury to boot. Matt Farrow again. A little slow to get up. He had to be tended to earlier for what looked like cramps. I still haven't quite received. Was this a penalty on the defense? Okay, so it was a dead ball encroachment offsides on the Abes, which I didn't see from here, but that's going to give the Saints a first down. A little bit of good fortune because if that play goes off, and maybe it's because of the early start from the Abes, but tackled in the backfield pretty nicely again by Tristan Kellum, who's played plenty of offense and done a nice job, but really I've been more impressed with Kellum as a defender. He's aggressive, he flies to the ball, and he's proven that he can stop Logan Ellis if they meet up, so good on him. Ellis hands to Gabriel. There's not much there. So that was Micah Alexander again.
Yeah, they're going to get him for horse collar, perhaps.
Horse collar.
Micah Alexander, there is a flag on the penalty.
That's possible. It almost looked like he just grabbed jersey, but
it did. Yeah, it didn't look like he had his shoulder or anything.
On the defense.
There it is.
15 yards from the end of from the original line of scrimmage. First down.
Well, all that notwithstanding, I think as an offensive coordinator, I'm looking at wherever Alexander is, and I'm calling something to the other side.
Other side. You're absolutely right.
And I don't know if Kellum is stacked over there with him, but that gives you double incentive. And it kind of looks like they do play on the same half of the formation. Now, right now, Kellum's just stacked over the top, but Alexander was right there again. They kind of countered at him this time, took advantage of how aggressive he is. Pretty good play call there. Now it's going to get him about 7 yards. Make it 6. Call it 2nd and 4. 8 minutes left. Clock's moving. Saints 21-6. They had a moment in time here early in the fourth quarter where they kind of relented a little bit. This feels like the time that they can go capture it all back. Very big unbalanced formation left. Here's that toss play that they needed to go back to. Got him a touchdown earlier. Lincoln covers it up this time, but I think it may be enough for a first down. Looks like an official's timeout for injury may not be all necessary, but it did look like Ellis got enough there. Is it? Yeah, they're going to move the sticks for a first down. So inside the 25 now. Red zone opportunity here for the Saints. Ellis from the gun. They're going to try Wiegand, but the other side this time. He's not able to get around the corner that time either. Pretty good job there, running him down by Rashid Clements Jr.
Number 22, Rashid Clements Jr.
First time we've called Clements Jr.'s name today, but a nice tackle out on the perimeter, catching Jack Wiegand. They ran away from Micah Alexander that time, and good job filling there by Clements Jr.
Yeah, he came up real well.
I know the playbook's limited, but I think I'm pocketing that one for a later time. Just doesn't seem to be working today. That time Ellis goes off the right side. I believe it was Ellis. Nope, it was Gabriel. They got a similar look from here. Gabriel with a carry gets a few. But again, Saints just leaving themselves with difficult third down situations and not exactly an electric passing attack yet. So maybe looking at this more of I have 2 downs to get my 8 yards and running the football, trying to split it in 4s. Saints going to talk about it here as they use their first timeout of the second half.
Timeout St. Clair, their first charge timeout.
Just so many things right now that Coach Bishop and the Saints are probably trying to cover, just based on execution right now, Coach. It's just, it's kind of like where to start. You want to remind guys that a procedure penalty pretty much takes you out of it. And there's just so many things, and you got to get them in the right headspace to pick up this first down. It feels like a first down kind of ices it.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But if you don't get the first down here, it just kind of leaves the door open, and you just never know. Obviously, we saw how explosive Aaron Logan can be when he got out on the perimeter. You just don't want to play with fire in that way. You've held on to command of the game, throughout, and you don't want it to get dicey here in the waning moments. So a first down here pretty much gets you your dub on your home field on opening night, and you want to make sure you get that done. And I actually agree. Second half has been better, but no points to show for it. They're going to run Ellis and give him a look. Rolling opposite way. He's going to throw over the top. Looks like it was caught. We don't have an official signal. They did call it. It is a touchdown. I'm sorry, I can't see the official through the window here. That is a touchdown for the Saints. What an excellent job. Throws it out to Jackson Oles and makes a great catch right at the pylon. And they give him credit for a touchdown. A great throw off the opposite side by Peyton Ellis.
Yeah.
A big score on 3rd down and long. And we were talking about chunking it into 2 and all that nonsense, and they go and throw it right over the top for a touchdown.
They had a different idea.
Really good job under some duress, and Peyton Ellis delivers. So the first touchdown of the day for the Saints that doesn't belong in the hands of Logan Ellis. Then it's Jackson Oles, the senior wideout. And then Connor Gunn tacks on an extra one. He's been excellent tonight. And that makes it 28-6. And I'm a little more comfortable now, Coach. I think that's pretty much going to do it.
Yes, I'd agree with that. And that was really a nice pass off, rolling rolling to the left, and throwing. That's not the way he usually goes.
No, that's a tough deal. And he didn't turn his hips and set.
No,
he didn't have time for that.
Nope.
So that's the old play, moving on your feet, throwing the other way. That's tough to do, and kind of use some of that baseball footwork to throw it. Did a nice job, and a great catch, because I had a hard time figuring out how he caught that ball and how he got it across the pylon, but a great job by Jackson Oles to get his first touchdown catch of the year.
I had a perfect view of the window frame.
Right, and I couldn't see the official either. And there wasn't one in that corner with the pile. I had to find the guy in the middle. Nonetheless, Connor Gunn, he's perfect, 4 for 4 on extra points. He's going to kick it again. Let's see what we get out of him this time. Pretty good one. They're going to try it deep this time. It's the first time we've seen it.
Oops.
And the receiver, Brandon McNeil-Jones, and probably has been waiting for an opportunity to return the ball all day, and he slips on the turf. Probably got just enough dew on it at this point that it became slick. And they're going to start from the 21-yard line. So just when that was an opportunity for McNeil-Jones and possibly a spark for the Abes to, give it a last go, now we're going to put the Abes offense onto the field, and it's got to go a long ways, and it's got to go multiple times.
Well, it looked like the blocking was set up. He was going to go.
I think he had room to at least have an opportunity, and I'm sure he was disappointed for good reason. But he slips and falls, and the Saints send their defense on, and albeit for one broken play mistake out on the perimeter, the Saints have done a nice job defensively. Lombard wants to throw, and they're keeping the pressure on. Saints defensive secondary's done a nice job. They picked Lombard off twice.
Oh, again.
And I think out of the transition, they had to call a timeout again because they had no ability to get themselves on and off the field. And you mentioned a lot of these guys are playing both ways, but I guess that means they should be out there and ready to go.
Yeah. Well, and everyone has a different coaching philosophy, but I think if you walk on and walk off the field, that's a pretty good indication of your mental set.
Right. Yeah, there's no question. I think we talked about that being a factor. I thought that might factor in earlier, the disinterest. I think it did hit just now. But if the Saints would have come out in that first possession and driven down and scored, I think you would have saw that earlier. But that might have been it. The touchdown catch by Oles might have been the thing that now there's a little bit of indifference here, and that's not good if you're trying to execute football plays. It doesn't really work. I'm sure they're going to take some shots. Saints got to be disciplined. See if that front can get some pressure. They're going to bring a little extra here with a blitz. Lombard sees it, kind of goes right where the backer used to be in pursuit from behind. Nice hit. That was Josh DeVolder on the tackle.
See, I thought they could have done that earlier simply because the defensive linebackers and backs back up.
Right.
That's their first move.
And the splits by our defensive line are pretty far apart. I think they're trying to get an angle to just come in, and rightfully so. They're in the shotgun and they're throwing almost every possession. But, yeah, a little bit of a draw there. I think he just saw DeVolder and coming on a blitz and just decided to go.
Yep, that's what it looked like.
That's just Lombard trying to make a play here late. They're looking for the wheel route. They're not going to get it because it's well covered. Now they're going to try to throw it over the top. They do. Pretty good hit there. Nice tackle out on the perimeter. Seemed like a lot more yards than it was, just a few.
It did, yeah. And the clock keeps running.
Second down, and the clock's going to tick under 5 minutes. And this is interesting in that, you know, tempo-wise, you'd think the A's would be trying to hustle it, but I just think that this is the speed they go. You know, even though they're running a spread, it's not a no-huddle spread in tempo. It's huddle every time, and it's taking them a while. Now they're running the football up the middle here. Only one timeout left for the A's.
Cullen with the carry. He stopped at the 49-yard line, but that is enough.
It's going to be a first down for Lincoln. Going to give them time as they set the chains. Probably should have restarted the play clock there for them. Yes. They're not going to, so keep an eye on that. Throws it on the outside. That's Aaron Logan. He ran for a touchdown earlier. Not
nice
that
coverage.
time. It was a good coverage there. And a nice open field tackle by Cam Kaminsky. Just a sophomore is Kaminsky. Did a nice job seeing him carry the ball a couple times. Kind of growing into a role. He's a guy you could see potentially, you know, playing a bigger factor on both ends of the football.
Yes.
Abe's kind of trying to hustle to the line as time ticks on here in the fourth. Getting everybody set. Saints D-backs back off. Lombard looks to throw right side. Going to throw short. Trying to recapture some of that lightning that they had on that first perimeter throw with Aaron Logan. But I think the Saints have kind of targeted in on that. That maybe woke them up a little bit. DeVolder with a nice tackle there out on the perimeter. The clock continues to run. Even though there's some completed passes, still 3rd and 9, so not much going here for the A's. See if they try Logan out on the far side, the wide side of the field like they did before. I think they were trying to get him across, and looks like Lombard got sacked. They may have lost the football.
Not sure what that was.
He was in the grasp, and I think he was trying to just fling it to somebody, and that's 4th down and a mile. And so if it wasn't over after this play, it most certainly should be. Saints just going to put an umbrella. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay,
wow.
So they're going to give Lombard an incomplete pass credit for that on one of the more interesting calls you'll see. So it's not 4th and a mile, but it's 4th and 9. And we have another stoppage for delay of game. Although that's a difficult one, Coach. I'm gonna stick up for the A's here. You did not call that an incomplete pass until what, 10 seconds left on that play clock. Just change the whole scope of what they're doing, and then call them for the delay of game. Although it shouldn't have been an incomplete pass, so I digress. But anyways, Lombard's going to try it from the shotgun. He's going to throw it deep because that's the only thing he's got left to do. Looks like a beautiful ball up top, but he's not going to be able to catch it because it wasn't in the field of play. And with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to go, all the Saints have to do now is run the football and run out the clock, and they will be 1-1 on the season. And will have to come to East China Stadium next week and play visitor, which is always just a little bit of a weird feeling. You get your own locker room, but you get the wrong stance and you stand in the sun.
Yes, you do.
And I always remembered that as it just kind of felt awkward. But the Mariners, you know, they lost last week to Armada, but bounced back tonight at Clawson and beat them 56-14. So you look at that and you think they probably have righted the ship. The Saints are going to have to go and watch this film and obviously clean up a number of things, because while I haven't had the opportunity to see the Mariners this year, I would imagine that they're a little more equipped than the Abes have been here tonight. So, you know, some things to pick up for the Saints in a rivalry game, and obviously they're going to work hard to do that this week. And there's Kaminsky, who we said might have a growing role here, taking it for a nice run of 15 yards or so. But with that rivalry game, you like to say you just never know. And, you know, it'll be important for these Saints to come out and get themselves ready.
Yeah, I think there are plenty of adjustments for the Saints to make, but I think they can easily make them.
Yeah, there's some things to clean up. The offensive line definitely played better, I think, today.
I agree.
You know, they had some moments. I think that the sweep to Wiegand has an issue, especially on an assignment on the end. But they've shown some flashes and put a couple of drives together. And if they can eliminate some of the negative plays, and that wasn't all the offensive line. You had a couple of snap issues, and when they were good snaps, they bobbled a couple, you know, and those are drive killers. So some things and some positives to look forward to. I think they were able to kind of take Logan Ellis out of the game a little bit later on and save his legs for next week. You haven't heard as much from him as the game's worn on, and now you've got reserves that are going to wind this out. So plenty of positives, but plenty of things to work on.
Yeah, I think you look at it and say, hopefully we've improved our offense from last week because we scored. Nice pass.
Absolutely.
And it looks like we got out of it without any major injuries, as long as those are cramps, that they look like cramps.
It did. And Matt Farrow did return to the football game, I think. So that was the one that took the longest and was of the most concern, and I think he returned to the game. So make sure they're hydrated and get themselves back to school and get in a routine and clean some of these things up. And, you know, we said at the beginning that it kind of felt like a must-win. It's hard to say that in the second game of the year, but they did just that. And the final is going to be 28-6. The Saints are going to get their first win of the season on their opening night, on Parents' Night. So congratulations to them. That is going to be your final. And if you're interested, come on out next week. We won't be on the broadcast, but it'll be Saints Mariners, and we look forward to seeing you. I think that's going to wrap it up for us. For Denny White, I'm Brad Robbins. We'll see you next time on CTV. Saints win 28-6.
By Magda. Join us again soon for more East China High School sports action on CTV, your community TV channel for Marine City and St. Clair.